Yes. Travel. There's so much more to life than just staying in the same place all the time. Travel is an investment in yourself. We couldn't agree more. Welcome to the Know Where You Want to Go Travel Podcast. You'll get recaps of recent travel, advice on where to go, and why to go there in the future. We'll talk about the news that's impacting travel, and we'll cover some places that you may never have even thought about going. We've been planning personal and corporate travel for over 15 years, and it's our passion to help you discover new places. Buckle your seatbelts, order up your favorite food or drink, and let's do this. This is the Know Where You Want to Go Travel Podcast. And now your host, Cam DeJong.
Hello and welcome to the Know Where You Want to Go Travel Podcast. This is Cam DeJong, your host. Glad to be here with you again. And I am very, very excited today to have with us Mark Pinnell from the Dive Bus in Curaçao. Not only is the Dive Bus the most amazing scuba diving operation in Curaçao, I would argue also that it is one of the best in the world. So we're going to be talking in just a bit. We're humongous fans of Curaçao. We've been several times. We're going to be going back again aboard a Virgin Voyages ship in January. Looking forward to introducing more and more of our friends and sailors to the Dive Bus and to the country. But yeah, we'll get into scuba diving in just a bit. But before we get into all things scuba, I'd like to have Mark introduce himself, talk about your journey, what brought you to Curaçao, and how did the Dive Bus come to life?
Hey, Cameron, thank you ever so much for inviting me onto the podcast. And I hope to provide a lot of people, a lot of information to get them down here and discover why I've lived here for over 20 years. And still loving the diving. Yeah. So, we started, me and my partner started this business 20 years ago. This is actually our anniversary year. So we've got a few celebrations going on this couple of weeks. And so we came from, the Bahamas. We'd been working in the Bahamas for a couple of years beforehand, cutting our teeth with learning the industry and so on. And then we got offered a short-term contract down here. So we came down. Obviously, everyone had heard of Bonaire. Curaçao back then was a hidden gem, which is becoming rapidly unhidden. And we worked our contract and had a blast. We realized how pretty things were down here under the water. And over the time we were here, we'd seen some dive shops, some smaller dive shops, and they're loading all the gear in the back of the pickup and putting the divers on top of the pickup, and we'd be driving behind them, and you can see them getting redder and redder and more sunburned. And occasionally you'd see the odd wetsuit or dive boot lying in the road that had flown out of the buckets that we used to carry things in, and we just thought we could do it better. And we figured, all right, we've got the ability to get what we call a bus. I mean, you guys call them minivans, but we decided to keep it small and cozy and drive people to the numerous beaches and dive sites that we have here in relative comfort of a covered bus with air conditioning. Very simple, I know. We also provide snacks and fruit and stuff, as is customary during the surface intervals and so on. And so that's what we did. We decided to do it in comfort, and it worked. We started the business over a few drinks, you know how it goes, and go, wouldn't it be great if? And over the years, 20 years, it's grown and just taken off. So I'm very, very thankful for that. So that's the basic story of the start of the Dive Bus.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, I could speak to the fact that just the environment that you have worked together with your team and everybody there from our first time there to when I was scared to death to get into the ocean, let alone scuba dive. And just I think the sense of humor, having that laid back atmosphere, which you would think is throughout the Caribbean, but it really stands out with you and so many others in Curacao with just the way it is there. It drew me to the water and the team then, I know the team evolves. This was back, I think, in 2012 when we were certified. So a few years
Sure.
ago. And, but it's always been so amazing there. But so looking beyond, the amazing organization, the company you put together, and looking at Curacao as a dive destination. You mentioned Bonaire, and a lot of like super pro divers will speak to Bonaire being such an amazing place, which it is. But
Sure.
what would you say makes Curacao stand out compared to other Caribbean islands when it comes to anything diving or elsewise?
Sure. The great thing about Curacao and Bonaire, we call it Bonware. Okay, we've heard of this tiny little island somewhere. But the difference between us and Bonaire basically is if you look at the three islands, we've got Curacao being the main island, the biggest island, and we've got a population of approximately 150 to 160,000. So we're a relatively, nice sized town, let's say, if you want to compare it. And then the next biggest island is going to be Aruba with about 89, 90,000. So it's kind of a smaller town. And then Bonaire has probably about 23,000. And so that gives you an idea of the sizes of the island. And so they're more like a tiny chilled out village. So we're very different. All three islands are very different in personality. What we have going for us, which Bonaire doesn't typically, is we have beaches that you can walk in from. There's an abundance of shore diving in Bonaire, but basically you've typically got a lot of loose, broken old corals to walk across or undulating substrate. And so it's not as easy to get into the water as it is in Curacao. Another redeeming feature of Curaçao is that we've got a lot to do outside of diving. So if you have non-diving spouses, family members, whatever, typically we can accommodate the whole family. If you don't want to be apart for the vacation, for some people that's actually something that they want. But if you choose to bring your family along, they can normally, as long as we've got prior notice, we can arrange it that we can go to some nice, comfortable beaches which have full facilities like restaurants and showers and restroom facilities and so on. Whereas, for example, Bonaire basically is a barren, rocky entrance, I want to say. So we've got that. We've got plenty to do outside of diving. There's a big food truck culture here, a lot of excellent restaurants which have grown and grown throughout the years. And what else? Things like casinos, if you're into that kind of thing. We're famous for our kite surfing, windsurfing, climbing, hiking. We've got so much to offer above and beyond our diving, which is world class as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you mentioned, Bonaire, you go there to dive on a boat or elsewise. But one thing that, with many things with Curacao is from the dive bus is just being able to walk across the street is
Hmm.
so beneficial for folks. And it's not that someone doesn't want to get into the bus and go to another destination on the island because there are so many, but just the convenience of being able to walk across the street. And then there's a restaurant right across the street. So it's that's where we had our first lionfish lunch was
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
diving.
Yeah.
So there's a lot right in that area too. And
Hmm.
it's but and it's just, keeps things unique. So, a lot of divers when you look at whether it's Facebook forums and it's funny, I've written a blog about this and tell anybody that will listen is, be careful what you look for in Facebook groups and Reddit threads and everything because it's
Hmm.
either people are strong advocates or are strong anti-advocates of things and you'll see a lot of different ideas for dive shops in Curacao, and I'm sure
Sure.
most of them, if not all of them, are wonderful. But what do you do, or what do you think besides the air conditioned bus, which is awesome? What kind of differentiates you and the dive bus from some of the other dive companies, dive operations in Curacao?
It's a good question. I haven't actually dived with anyone else here. Obviously, having my own company, but we want to have fun. We want you guys to have fun. We're not into rushing things and so on. We're into actually spotting things for you under the water, taking care of you as well. I mean, shore diving is a wonderful way to experience it if you're a particularly new diver or a nervous diver. Just because we don't have to, typically, I mean, you're jumping in off a boat and descending onto the reef at 30, 40 feet. With shore diving, go in the water. My favorite depth is probably between 15 and 25 feet. It's that nice. Okay. So we're able to look after you that much better. What else? We try and keep our equipment in really good condition. We're actually the Scuba Pro dealer on the island. So we're very fortunate to be able to turn over our equipment. So it's always in really good operating, working condition. So yeah, comfort really. It's important to us, especially with new divers. We've got a lot of returning divers, but our new divers, we want them to come back. So, and that demands a level of attention and service that we're proud to give, and we love to give as well. A lot of the staff have been here for a good few years, which is nice. Been able to retain them, and so yeah, typically you'll see some familiar faces when you come back if you want to return. So we're really into making it an experience for you guys, making it a memorable one. A lot of places you go to, I mean, I've heard the same stories as you have, and you probably actually experienced it a bit more than I have, doing all the cruises that you've done. But yeah, no dive shop is equal. We all offer something unique, and especially with the small bespoke companies like myself, like ourselves here, we're able to offer something above and beyond what the larger dive shops are. And we've been doing this 20 years, so we know what people like, we know what people enjoy, and I make sure I beat the instructors so that they can deliver that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean I think that's what we can offer. If you can tell me otherwise, and Cameron.
Oh, I mean, you you covered it very well. Hey, the beatings always lead to great performance. No, anything but that with you guys. No, I mean, and I think you're exactly right. What we've seen there is just feeling comfortable from the start. Nerves
Hmm.
are always there's always going to be a certain level of nerves when it comes to going, whether it's 20 feet, 30 feet, 100 feet
Sure.
under the ocean. And when you feel that peace of mind because of again, a sense of humor always loosens people up, but it's
Yeah,
also
that's right.
just the assurance that, hey, this is going to be okay. We're going to go through this, we're going to be fine. And it's not even that, it's just get in the ocean, just experience it. And then of course you have the good water there that makes it even
Mm.
easier once you can
Hmm.
see what's in there. So absolutely, I totally agree with you there. And again, like with cruises, and a question I had about kind of if someone had a few days here, the big issue with cruising is you're not there for a few days. You're there for,
Hmm.
in our case, in January, we'll be there for 13 hours, which is a really
Hmm.
good amount of time. But for someone that, whether they're there for a day or a few days and they're able to get one, two, three dives in, is there one spot that they should try to get to over another that you've seen, whether it's just coral reef or whether it's wildlife, animals, and under the sea, anything that you would point out that someone should really be putting at the top of their list?
Sure. I mean, our house reef is a reef that obviously I've been diving for 20 years on, and I love it. And a lot of the instructors, as well as myself, will come in on our free days to dive it. It's that nice. And it's very diverse. We've got a rec area, which is called the car pile, as well as the beautiful reef out front where we've got the coral outplants, the coral trees that people have started to, or dive shops, dive organizations have started to developed over the years for the past 10, 15 years. We've got coral trees out there to help grow the coral so that we have excellent coverage for you when we go diving. And so I'd say this one typically will dive you cruise ship divers who are only in for a few hours from our house reef, not just because it's easier. It's because we have everything right at the dive shop if something's wrong with your equipment, not ours, and so on. And yeah, it's stunning out there. The other, I mean, if you're here for a few days as well, or if you decide to return for a few days when you've seen how beautiful the reefs are here, unfortunately, one of the nicest dive sites is an advanced dive site, and we can't actually access it when you guys are in because it's right under the cruise ship mega pier there, and it's called the Superior Producer, which is a natural wreck. Went down in '77, and it's due to that longevity under the water. It's covered in beautiful corals and fish life, marine life. We've got yeah schools of top on just cruising around underneath and so on. So that's a nice one. It's a good question, but it's almost too impossible to give you a definitive answer just because, I'm a firm believer that I don't really have a favorite, but my favorite is the one I'm doing at the time and the fun people I'm diving with. And if you're having a laugh underwater, that's my favorite. So that's how I view it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'll do is I'll reach out to Virgin and see if they can move their ship just long enough to get to that.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll love me for that one. They'll say, yeah,
yeah, totally.
you need to sell a couple 100,000 more cruises first.
For
No,
sure.
that's so super, super cool. You talked a bit about like just, what Curaçao is good for with of course the shore diving where more beginners can come in and of course with the diving opportunity for advanced divers. So I'll kind of skip over that because you talked about that previously. Looking
Mm,
at Curaçao outside of the world of diving, if
mm,
someone was coming into port on a cruise ship or coming for a few days,
mhm.
restaurants, places to eat, activities, or even that mystery beach, everybody you can ask 20 people and it'll give you 20 different beaches to go
Yeah,
to
for
that
sure.
that are remote or there's no tourists here. And of course, by the time 1,000 people know about a non-touristy beach, it becomes a touristy beach. So
Sure.
you have that as well. So what are your kind of top secret, not really top secret places that you would recommend when it comes to restaurants? You mentioned the food trucks, of course, but anything else there? And then, of course, activities, beaches, etc.
Yeah, I mean, um, it's more challenging, obviously, coming in on a cruise ship because you're limited with time, as you quite rightly pointed out. Um, but if you have the time and the inclination, it depends what you want out of your vacation. But restaurants and so on, I'll be honest with you, living here for so long, I tend to go to the more local restaurants. And so there's a bunch of really good fish restaurants where you can go in and you can order fish by the weight. Usually, I'm a big fish eater. Usually, I'll go with some seared tuna, some sashimi tuna. What else? A basket of shrimp and a bucket of beer, and you got a happy dive shop owner uh, right there. But you can't go wrong. There's in town if you come in. What's great is where the cruise ship moors up. You walk out. You've obviously got the main shopping area, and then you've got the famous floating bridge, the Old Swinging Lady. And if you walk across there, there's a nice restaurant on the canal front there. I sometimes go in on my free days and just watch the world go by. You can watch the bridge opening and closing, and you'll see miracles sitting there with your beer watching. Okay, you'll see because basically the bell goes off to warn people that the bridge is going to open, and it's not a problem because they've got these free ferries that go across when the bridge is open. But people don't want to walk all the way down there when they're so close to the bridge. So you'll see people throwing away their crutches and running across the bridge. You'll see people getting out of their wheelchairs, and it's a great place. So I'd spend some time doing that. What else? Oh God. Do there's a very close to where the cruise ships come in. There's a there's a local fishing area where all the local fishermen with the small boats come in, and there's a restaurant there that's famous with the locals called Perunchi's. So it's basic island food, but it's delicious. And also, if you go into town, there's Market Bayo, which is a local food market, and it's nothing fancy. It's basically, picnic tables, and you go up to each vendor and you have a look at their menu, see what they're offering, and you order your red snapper or your local dish like stoba, which is a local stew, and then serve it up in front of you, and then you just grab your plate, find a space, sit down, plonk yourself down, start eating and making friends with the people that are surrounding you. The locals are very friendly, and yeah, they'll get chatting if you say, a bon dia, which is good morning or something. They're super friendly. So yeah, that's probably a few places I can give you which are easily reachable on foot.
That is amazing. Absolutely. We hear about that with some of the US airlines with the wheelchair, the miracles that happen. They
Yeah.
get they get the boarding early, and then they
Yeah.
suddenly are no
Suddenly
longer
they can
wheelchair
walk
bound.
again. Oh, it's a miracle.
It's so many miracles. I love it. And if they're happening in
I
Curacao,
know.
that's
It makes me
there's
laugh. Thanks up.
oh gosh, all the time, all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a wild world, but no, this is awesome, and thank you for all of that information. It gives us some good ideas for our January trip, and more importantly,
Sure.
for the listeners of the podcast, is and just to make it very clear, this is a sales pitch for Curacao. This is a sales pitch for the Dive Bus because one, Mark, Susie, and that team are absolutely amazing. Number two, Curacao is to me the very best island in the Caribbean to visit.
Yes.
And I would say that I've said that on other podcast episodes. I've said that on our website. I've said that on social media, and I'll continue to say that until there's
Okay.
ever a shadow of doubt in between there.
Yeah.
So we'll just wrap up on this. We'll be seeing you in a few months. We're so excited to do that. If there's any last words that you have about the dive bus, about anybody that's thinking, I might come to Curacao, but especially this is a US based podcast. So a
Okay.
lot of folks go to Aruba by just the comfort level of knowing Aruba. What's that one thing that you would say to maybe convince them to just jump right over to Curaçao instead of settling on Aruba?
Sure. We have a very because we haven't been focused on tourism for many years. Um, we're at that hidden gem that I was talking about. Um, it's like we're out the hurricane belt. We're very relaxed. You get off the ship, you can probably attest to this. And people, the vendors are standing there, but they kind of leave you alone. It's not like when you go to the Bahamas or, where they're constantly trying to persuade you to braid your hair and so on. So it's a very relaxed island with just a lot to offer. So yeah, um, with with us, I mean, yeah, we'll focus on basically making sure you have the best time that we can possibly show you. It's really important to us to come back, and we have had a lot of people from cruise ships experience diving with us, and then they'll, next year they'll come back and say we had such a great time with you, and we had such a great time with the reef. The reef's amazing. That we decided to come back for a week or 2 weeks and so on. So yeah, that's what's so great about Curaçao and coming down here. Yeah, a lot of islands. They've seen cruise ships, for many years. We really haven't, but it's becoming more popular. So you really need to book with Cameron and get down here before it gets way popular. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. We're going to make it even more popular by getting more people there.
Yeah,
So,
I know
so
it's a double-edged sword, right?
I know, but we'll be fine. And no, that's awesome. And I totally agree with you. We've
Sure.
walked many times in downtown area and
It's
near the sea
very
aquarium.
historic. I mean, you've got that
So amazing.
UNESCO World Heritage Site right there.
Yes,
You've got do a walking tour. There's the buildings with cannonball holes still in them. From hundreds of years ago. It's yeah, so much to offer.
absolutely. No, I love it. Can't wait to show so many new faces. I think of the 25 of us that are going in January. I think 23 have never been to Curaçao. So
Yeah,
that's going to be an amazing introduction, and we'll get to
yeah.
see so many sites there. So again, thank you, Mark, for so much for joining me today. We super appreciate you. We'll continue to stay in touch. And if anybody has any questions about the dive bus, you can go to the divebus.com online. Go on social media and look them up as well. As
Mm-hmm.
Mark mentioned earlier, they're celebrating a big anniversary this year. So been around for
Zero.
20 years. That's so
20
awesome.
years.
So thank you for that. And
Oh, can I add something?
absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I mean, with diving, I'm not just doing this for divers. Basically, having lived here for so long, I do know that Curacao is great for for the adventurous type. You really want to try diving. It's one of the easiest places for us to not just teach, but for you guys to learn as well. So if you're interested, if you're not a diver, this is a really great place to give it a go because again, I go back to typically a lot of islands they'll put you on a boat and then drop you in the water and you've got to go down a line until you're at 30, 40 feet. But with us, you literally start in the bay here. We practice some skills and then we head out and it's very gradual. It's not, very easy, very, very easy. So for you adventurous types out there, get in touch. Yeah, for sure. We'll give you an experience of your life.
Perfect. So thank you so much again, Mark. That's absolutely a great way to wrap is anybody, whether you've done is swim in a kiddie pool and you've never stepped foot anywhere else in water, but yet you're intrigued by what's under the water and you're open-minded to it. I would say even if your mind is half shut, if you get down to Curacao and give it a chance, it's such an amazing place to learn. As Mark said, the Bay is just a wonderful place to start that experience. So, thank you so much. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of the Know Where You Want to Go Travel podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We appreciate your review on Apple Podcasts. We have, I believe, now almost 30 reviews, and make sure to leave a review there for us. We'll be back soon with more amazing guests. I'm not sure we can get much more amazing on the guest side, but we'll be doing that in the future. And we're looking at maybe doing some live podcasts on some cruises coming up. So thank you so very much and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Know Where You Want to Go Travel Podcast. Cam has been planning personal and corporate travel for over 15 years. It's what he loves to do. And with this show, we can give you recaps of our recent travel and advice on where to go and why to go there in the future. We'll give you news on things that impact travel, like COVID, and we'll throw in some places you may never have even thought about going. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit up CamJohnTravel.com and find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at CamJohnTravel. See you next time on the Know Where You Want to Go Travel Podcast.